losing balls and taking penalty strokes is exhausting. Right? I want to help make that stop for you. And to do that, I want to give a brief lesson on ball flight laws. What determines where the golf ball goes, right? The main physics at impact involve measuring the face direction and the club path direction, right? Also known as just face and path. If we pull up our graphical helper here, right, we see that the club face angle, denoted by the dotted line and the graphic of the club face, determines the starting line that our ball takes. And the path, the relative measurement of the path to the face, determines whether or not our ball curves. So if we look down the middle column, we'll see balls that don't curve, right? Straight pull, straight shot, and a push straight. All of these didn't curve because the face and the path match, right? The curve comes when the face and the path diverge. So if we look at, say, some of the worst shots possible, let's look at the bottom right corner. A push slice is a result of the face being pointed to the right of our target at impact and the path being left of our face. That will start the ball to the right and curve the ball further right. And its ugly step cousin, the pull draw, just works in the opposite fashion. If you look in the top left, face is pointed left at impact, and the path is right of the face, so the ball will start left and curve further left. Right? So now that you have a good idea of what face and path tell you about what the ball's going to do, you might wonder, well, what is it that determines the face and the path? And there is a secret, if you will, that kind of gives it away, and that is the shaft. The shaft of the club during the swing is a fantastic proxy or correlate for what the face and path are doing. So I've got two examples up here. An amateur on the left, Tiger Woods on the right. What the shaft tells us about face and path, generally speaking, is that a shallower shaft will promote a more open face and a path that works more out to the right. A steeper shaft promotes a more closed face and a path that tends to work out to the left. These are not perfect correlates, but the correlation is so high that you can treat it as gospel, more or less. So let's look at backswing mistakes that amateurs make. And how those backswing mistakes affect face and path and are very visible through the lens of the shaft. The amateur backswing often starts like this. Club gets too shallow, the shaft is too shallow, which pushes the path out to the right and opens the face. The pro backswing almost always works into a much steeper position where the shaft will point somewhere between the golf ball and their toes, but generally it's going to be in this neighborhood here. And this will promote a more closed club face and a path that's more left. Once you get the club in the position that our amateur has on the left, you'll find that almost all of you tend to start to compensate and steepen the shaft in the backswing, because an open face with a path to the right is going to be a big problem, right? We can pull up our chart again. Open face, path to the right is going to look a lot like push slice on the bottom right there. So we kind of instinctually know this, and we start to steepen the shaft, and we get the shaft so steep that we end up in what's kind of a classic across the line position. You do this, your buddy does this. Almost everybody I've ever taught looks like this to some degree or another. Versus if we look at Tiger and almost all pros, what you're going to see is a shaft that more or less tracks kind of up the original plane. And by original plane, I just mean something that points around the golf ball, right? Doesn't have to be perfect. Something that points around the golf ball. For comparison purposes, just note these two shaft positions. Right, these are the backswing mistakes that you can check for yourself right now. And I'd encourage you to hang around for the next video. We're going to dig into the transition and downswing mistakes that come as a result, and we'll tie all that to shaft, which produce our face and path conditions, which cause those foul balls that we all hate.